everyone is having a good day whenever you are watching this. Welcome back to Ticket to Ride. We are headed back to our home park, our first vlog at our home park. And after dealing with some traffic, our lovely driver Bridget here is taking us on a little trip to Six Flags Great Adventure. And we're going to do Coaster Power Hours. Now, if you don't know what Coaster Power Hours are, they're a special event that take place in the springtime on select Thursdays and Fridays at Six Flags Great Adventure. It is an opportunity for you to ride all the rides in one night without a flash pass. Only the roller coasters are accessible. A lot of the stands and everything are closed, so if you're looking for that or any of the other ride experiences like Houdini's Mansion and things like that, won't necessarily be able to get this on this. But if you're looking to lap El Toro for the night, this is the place to go. It's Coaster Power Hours at Six Flags Great Adventure. So it's going to be a fun time. We're going to take you on a little ticket to ride. Another thing that's important to know with Coaster Power Hours, if you're trying to do it, is get a reservation. If you're a pass holder especially, take the reservation in as far in advance as possible, even if you think you're going to be going to it, because you might be screwed if on the day of you just decide that you want to go, because it's free for pass holders. And I believe they limit the amount of pass holders that they want at the park, because they do still sell a general admission ticket to Power Hours that is about $30 or so. So definitely keep that in mind. We have arrived on a very foggy evening at Great Adventure, so be curious to see what is running. Kingda Ka is currently in the fog, but otherwise I think we should be okay.
Six Flags Great Adventure has the best playlist. My middle school dreams.
Yeah, you can only hear so much of it to avoid a copyright, but think of every millennial, middle school,
2000s.
early 2000s jam.
7
And
jam.
well, looks like we're gonna have a very quiet night. I got a feeling you're gonna be dealing with a lot of walk-ons, and that's going to be a big difference to when you're here on a normal day, unless you have a flash pass. Look at how dead this is. Insanity. Free for pass holders, only $30 general admission, and you get 5 hours of this. We came a little late, kind of in the heart of it right now, so this is the heart of it. This is really all it is. All right, so the mine train literally went by with not a single soul on it, so what do you say? We're gonna lap it about 10 times?
Twice.
We can at least go on it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do it. So we did Mine Train.
Back row, we were the only people on the ride.
Yes, it was a very lonely ride, but you know what? Kind of cool. It's just a empty train to nowhere. So now we're on to bigger things with Medusa.
Yeah.
Should be pretty good, but it's
One
so,
of my favorites.
it's so quiet here. I feel like I gotta be.
Gotta quiet. Quiet.
So I guess it's still working on the signage. There it goes. Well, I guess that explains it. There it goes. So we just did Medusa back row, and needless to say, always a good ride.
One of my favorites.
Yes, I felt a little bit of a rattle, but it was a back row, so that's to be expected. They're still working on the theming, because you still notice a lot of the Bizarro theming on the ride, or things just covered up in paint. So it's definitely still a work in progress, but the ride queue in its entirety has been re-themed to like somewhat of a Western vibe that they're going for, and always a favorite. Nice to see it back as Medusa. Baby geese in tow.
Look at the Six Flags babies. Oh, they're so cute.
I think it's about that time. You doing one?
One.
Just one. I may sneak on.
The first one goes.
I may sneak on for a bonus round. So she did her one on El Toro. Did we didn't like it anymore? Any less? Same deal. Okay. Then she was nice enough to watch me go on 2 more times. I was only going to go on 1 more time, and then you know what? Seats were still open. No one was in my row. Hopped back on. Just, it was phenomenal. But I tell you, the difference between in a car, if you're in the middle seat compared to a wheel seat, I was on the middle seat both the first 2 times, and then the last time by myself, I went on the wheel seat, and it felt like
Night and day.
it felt like the derailment was going to happen again. All right, so Kaz closed, but just look at how empty this is. And granted, if you want to drink, if you're really thirsty, you might have to take a hike for that. But otherwise, I think we're going to skip Batman. We've done our fair share of it here, and we might actually do Skull Mountain next, which I wonder if they're doing what they did last year during the Coaster Power Hours, which is essentially a remix.
Strobe lights.
Basically looked like they took Spirit Halloween and threw it into a roller coaster, indoor roller coaster. So let's see if they're doing that this time. Check back with you. You know, actually now that I'm walking off it, I do feel a little bit of that nausea that I feel when I go on a roller coaster where I can't exactly see, because the remix was not happening this year for Power Hours. So maybe they're saving it for Fright Fest. They still had it sounded like death metal that was playing inside, which was a little eerie, and I think went along pretty well with the overall theme. So
I don't like the dark.
Me neither. I'm scared of the dark. So as we head over to Devil, yes, we also did skip Superman Ultimate Flight, which sometimes feels like you are walking about a mile or 2 to get on the ride, and maybe it's broken down. But Green Lantern as well. Green Lantern is just it's an uncomfortable ride for a defunct style of roller coaster, in my opinion. And this time, I think having it as a walk-on made me appreciate this a little bit more, because it is tough to wait an hour for this ride because there's only so much to it, but front row was intense. It's a totally different story. The one restraint feels like it's slightly falling off your shoulder a bit, but you're hauling, you're going really fast. You had your own issues with it though.
My thighs. It felt very much like Sky Rush at Hershey Park. It was just digging right into my thighs, and every twist, every turn was just digging in.
Now, Sky Rush absolutely killed me. I was almost frustrated with how much the thigh crush hype was real for me, but it was definitely not as bad as Sky Rush. But I
didn't feel it in the back row. I felt it in the front row.
One thing that's really cool is I noticed this big blue tent that looks like for the summer hours, people are going to be in the shade for once. So what I would say for myself, love this ride, love every time I go on it, love every row, no matter what. But the fog freaked me out, especially when you're way back in the forest there and you're right along the river. It's like you're going into the oblivion. It's like it feels like you're on the horizon on the beach somewhere, and it's she loves it. For the front row, I was screaming and closing my eyes the entire time, but I could have stayed on that all night if no one else was hopping on the first row. So I think it's going to do it for tonight. So credits overall for the evening. We did the Runaway Mine Train. We did Medusa. I did 3 on El Toro. You braved 1.
I'll always do 1, never more.
Appreciate you. And then we came over here. We did 1 Jersey Devil, and then we lapped Nitro, which is always fun to do. I tell you, that's the one cool experience you can get out of Power Hours, especially if the weather is not perfect out. That's gonna scare a lot of people away. Is you are going to very much be able to lap these coasters And we've been here to Coaster Power Hours 3 different times, and this is really the first time that I felt that lapping of the coasters, and that really changes the entire vibe here. It definitely is a good reason to come here and visit Great Adventure and get all the rides you want with little lines. Well, we wrap up another great night here, Six Flags Great Adventure Coaster Power Hours. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This has been Ticket to Ride.